How hard is it to find Indonesian girls who don't want to marry and don't want to have kids or start their own family? And I'm asking this question because in my earlier days I did not consider this. I did not ask this question to myself or was not pondering it at all because, you know, for example, 20 years ago, I was more on the player side. I was a playboy and I was kind of hopping from girl to girl. Not necessarily in Indonesia. I arrived in Indonesia a little bit later, but in my early years in Indonesia, that dynamic certainly still played a role. And you should also ask these questions and become more clear about your aspirations, your dating goals, your dating plans. Yeah, and I don't know what your motivations are for traveling to Indonesia. Maybe you're just a tourist, maybe you just want to check out some temples and beaches, but maybe you are some of this, or you are part of this increasing number of Western expats who also now start considering Indonesia for dating. Yeah. So if you also want to live permanently there, you maybe perhaps want to retire there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that for many guys also the dating is on their radar, and it is still very, very important for many guys, the dating thing. So, and this is a thing you need to ponder. You need to ask this question and need to think about. Yeah, because first of all, I speak out of my own experience, but also last year I met someone, a Western expat in Indonesia, and he was in that kind of a dilemma. He is also middle-aged, similar age like mine, and he comes from Europe, and he was definitely interested in dating Indonesian women. He was in a relationship, basically, at the time when we got to know each other, when I met him, and he has been living in Indonesia already for, I think, almost a couple of years. So he was not a tourist. Yeah, but I had very interesting conversations with him, obviously, and from our conversations, I could figure, and he told me that number one, he is also here for dating in Indonesia. He is interested in dating Indonesian women. They are gorgeous, they're cute, they're sexy, you know. But on the other side, he also and always valued his freedom. Yeah. So what he did not do was, for example, to move his Indonesian girlfriend into his apartment. He had a separate apartment. He was a busy guy. He also he's a digital nomad, so he worked from his apartment. And so, yeah, a relationship with an Indonesian woman, yes, he enjoyed that, but he still wanted to kind of keep his freedom. And by the way, moving a woman into your apartment you shouldn't do anyway, especially during the first few days, weeks or months. Yeah, this is just my advice, but I can strongly relate to this gentleman here, this Western European expat. So yeah, enjoying the bachelor's life. And this gentleman don't want to lose that. He wants to maintain his kind of bachelor lifestyle. So he wants to enjoy dating Indonesian girls, Indonesian women, but also he wants to remain free and independent. And this is exactly actually the thing I want to talk about here in this video. That's going to be in the middle and long term a serious challenge for you as a Western guy in Indonesia, because most of the women, and I mentioned this in previous videos, you know that most of the girls, most of the women, they want a family, they want to start their own family. In short, they want to get married, they want to become a wife, and they want to become a mother. So this is their course of life. This is what they're aiming for, the majority of Indonesian women. So imagine you are a guy who just arrived there, enjoys the dating. Maybe you hop from woman to woman a little bit, but how long do you want to continue doing this? Because you can do it actually, but you will break a lot of hearts. And now I can see already some of you might pointing the finger towards me and say, Marcel, you are the best case. You are the best example of this. Aren't you the guy who broke a lot of hearts in Indonesia over the past 16 years? You always talk about dating Indonesian women and you brag how many you dated. And look, you're not even married yet. Who gives you the right to talk about these things, to talk about all these things, Number one, I never bragged about how many girls I dated, okay? If you want to find these braggarts, then I strongly advise you to look for other YouTube channels, okay? And secondly, I never set out to break a lot of hearts on purpose, yeah? Not in the Philippines, not in Vietnam, or not even in Indonesia. As a matter of fact, I had very few relationships with Indonesian women. You can count them on one hand. It's not even 5. Okay, I have to think also now. It's probably 3 relationships. Let's say no. It was actually 5 relationships. When I count my Hong Kong time, when I include my Hong Kong time into this thing, but my Hong Kong time started 20 years ago. So we are talking here about a time frame of 20 years. So in 20 years, I was in a relationship with 5 Indonesian women, or let's put it like this. I consider these relationships real relationships, okay? And it's not too bad, Why it didn't work out is a topic for another video. I have actually released a video last year where I talk about why I'm not married yet to an Indonesian woman. In this video I talk about a little bit more detail about the reasons, and you know how it is. Shit happens, you meet a woman, you get into a relationship, and then for so many reasons the relationship is not working out. Maybe it was because of me or because of her, so many different reasons, right? So but it was certainly never my intention to arrive in Indonesia and now start to break a lot of hearts. But this is what will be happening if you decide to remain a bachelor and single for the rest of your life. You will certainly have no issues to date girls, to get to know girls, Indonesian women. You have no issues to enter into a relationship with them, to start a relationship, but the time will come, and sometimes rather sooner than later, when these women then will try to lock you down basically and settle this whole thing and move forward with marriage. And if you are not in for that, then you have to basically break up, right? Explain it to her, or she will then break up, and then you have to start to find a new woman. But in 80-90% of the cases, you will run into the same issue. It's going to be the relationship, marriage issue, the long-term thing, because this is what a good normal Indonesian woman wants. And you also have to understand Indonesian culture is more traditional and more conservative than Western cultures. We used to have that like 100 years ago, but Indonesia is still that, and you also have to understand and know that many of these girls are facing a tremendous pressure by their families, by their immediate family members, mom, dad, aunties, and also extended circle of friends, I have experienced this firsthand, where my previous girlfriends complained to me about their family members, mom, dad, aunties, sisters, cousins, who were nagging them constantly hey, when do you get married? Hey, where is your husband? Where is your fiancé? These women were already approaching 30 years very quickly, and 30 years is an age in Indonesia also very similar to the Philippines, where the society kind of judges the woman in a way that when she is 30 and above, she's kind of expired already. No marriage material anymore. So this kind of cultural and societal dynamics you have in Indonesia. So these girls are facing a lot of pressure by their relatives when it comes to marriage and starting their own family, but also they put themselves, of course, under enormous pressure. So the topic will come up sooner or later. And even you're dating a single mom who had a career already going for herself, who has maybe who has raised children which are out of the house already. Still, this woman also wants a partner and probably wants to remarry, and she just don't want to date around and hop around from Western guy to Western guy. So this is the thing you need to consider when you want to travel to Indonesia to start dating Indonesian women. You need to ask yourself this question: what you really want with dating there. What are your intentions? So if you want to find a wife, if you want to get married, if you want to start your own family, let's go. That's it. Indonesia is the perfect place to find a beautiful wife. If you just want to remain a bachelor or even a playboy, I would say then honestly better skip Indonesia, because, as I said, over 90% of the women are not interested in just flings and dating around. If you need a quick fix, if you just want to enjoy with the girls for 2-3 weeks, then go to Bali or go to Jakarta and hang out in these pickup bars and pickup clubs. There are plenty, tons, heaps, a plethora of freelancers and working girls in Indonesia, gold diggers, scammers, girls who are looking for a sugar daddy. If you're into that, you can find plenty of them. But if you are into a serious relationship, then better stay away from these women who are interested in serious relationships. And now I'm sounding here a little bit moralizing because I'm still also not married yet, and I'm kind of dating around. Yes, this is true, and but I have thought about it. And I can tell you, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos already, I was teasing a little bit that I have stopped dating Indonesian girls basically. And so basically I don't have that problem anymore. I just outlined in this video because I also had to ask myself these tough questions. How do I want to continue, my journey, my life with Indonesian women or with other women for that matter, And I've been through a kind of transition last year, and all I can tell you that I have, even though I am still in a relationship now with an Indonesian woman, I have stopped dating them, okay? And why I have stopped dating them, and I will also stop dating them in the future, I will talk about in my next video, where I will share with you why I have stopped dating Indonesian girls. And this might come perhaps as a shocker to you, hearing this out from my own mouth. The proponent on YouTube who always talks about dating Indonesian girls so much. Right, so in my next video I will share with you what's really going on, what has happened, and I also will give you a channel outlook, for the coming weeks, months, and perhaps years ahead, so that you are not in the dark about what I've said here now, and you might even be a little bit confused now. So in the next video, I will lay out everything for you on the table. I will be completely transparent, and I also will share about the transition I have been going through. So with that being said, I'm checking out for today. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care. Bye bye.